The first type of reproduction we have is asexual reproduction. These figures you see are some samples of asexual reproduction, and with asexual reproduction, only one parent is needed. An example of this right here, again, you got three examples. This is what we call budding right here in the middle. Basically, new individuals are created from cells in the parents' bodies. So this is budding. This is simply a bacteria cell right here. This splitting in half, and also this is also called splitting here. Another organism performing asexual reproduction. The problem with these three in asexual reproduction is when this occurs in nature, there is little, hopefully you can read my writing there, little genetic diversity. So with little genetic diversity, what happens with a lot of these animals that are asexual, they die out. They really don't adapt to evolution. So a lot of them go away. Not everyone, but some of them. They die out because they can't adapt for evolution. So again, this is asexual reproduction where it requires only one parent. And one big example was right here. Hopefully you can read through all the writing I did in here, is budding. Our second form of reproduction, the one we're more familiar with right here, is sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is where the gametes, you heard this word before if you were paying attention first semester. Gametes are our sperm and eggs come together and they form the zygotes. And these new gene combos, and there's great diversity here. So we know when we're talking about the first semester with meiosis that 4 different embryos, and they're all different, genetically different. They're not identical. And if you look at your brothers or sisters, if you have those, you guys all look different. So again, this is sexual reproduction. There's a nice little visual for you there that shows you the sperm, how they come around the egg. And remember, only one sperm can enter that egg, and once that forms with that egg, it forms a zygote. The zygote then becomes embryos, and the embryos become a baby. So again, with sexual reproduction, there's new gene combos and greater diversity, and this greater diversity helps us adapt to a changing environment. We also have what's called hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodites, some worms, as in the visuals you see here, are hermaphroditic, and some fish and mollusks are also. What we mean by this is they have both male. Male here. Let's circle for you. So you see here you get the sperm, the male reproductive, and also the female reproductive at the same time. And it can change sexes too. So sometimes it could be male, and sometimes it could be female. So again, your hermaphrodites can be worms, fish, or mollusks. Done. With fertilization of our eggs, you can have what's called internal fertilization, the one you're most familiar with, and external fertilization. So right here, this is internal fertilization. It takes place inside the body, or sperm is released into an environment and later taken in to the egg. So this is our sperm right here inside the body, entering the egg. Over here is what we have is external fertilization. So most water animals use external fertilization. So again, most water animals use external fertilization. This is where they release their eggs and sperm into the water at the same time, and fertilization and development also happen in the water. So you see here Nemo at the beginning before all the eggs were eaten and Nemo was left alone. That's what fish do. They lay their eggs and the sperm into the water, and fertilization occurs in the water, and so does development. So that's the difference between internal and external. All right, talking about embryo development here, we have three different forms that we want you guys to know about. Looking over here, we have our oviparous organisms. Those are your inverts all the way to our birds. That's where embryos develop in eggs outside the parent's body. So again, that's oviparous. Again, embryos are developing eggs, and those eggs are outside the parent's body. So these are a lot of good examples here for you. Also, we have viviparous, that's mammals. A few select animals from other groups also have embryo development this way, but it's pretty much your mammals. So I know you guys all like this cow picture here, but that's the calf coming out of the mother. And this is viviparous. So this is how our embryos develop. Up here at the top, and I'll spell this out for you guys. This is ovovivia pairs. And pretty much with this, the embryos and eggs are inside the mother's body. So a lot of this is your sharks, mostly fish, but also some species of snakes also have their embryos develop this way. So the embryos are in eggs, and those eggs are within the mother's body developing. They're different from the oviparous, in which they develop the eggs outside the parent's body. So these eggs are developing within the parent's body for ovovivia paris. Moving on, how do animals care for their young? We got a couple different things we want you guys to know about here. And if you hold on a second, so I get my notes up for myself. Over here with fish, let me get my lightsaber, because you know I like lightsaber. There it is. Right here are fish. Pretty much, they do not care for their young. There's no care. This is with a lot of aquatic animals. They release their eggs and they leave them there. And a large number of offspring are laid there. And the eggs, and I showed you a picture before of Finding Nemo. There's a large number of eggs, and a lot of those eggs don't survive. So the fish just pretty much, they lay their eggs in the water and let them fertilize, and they leave. They don't stick around, so they don't care for their young. Unlike most mammals and other animals out there, but mostly mammals, we care for our young. We care for the developing young, and amphibians care their developing young in their mouth, back, or their stomach. And birds and mammals provide parenting and rearing, so we kind of teach our young what to do. So that's birds and mammals. So it lowers the number of offspring also. So we don't have a lot of offspring, so it makes it a lot easier for that to occur. Okay, we're almost to the end, guys, so hopefully you're sticking with me here. So we have our amniotic egg. We want to talk about that here. Pretty much with the amniotic egg, it provides a productive environment for the embryo to develop without drying out. So here is an example of an amniotic egg. You have your yolk. Actually, the shell of an egg, if you didn't know this, gas is able to transfer from the outside to the inside. So there's a gas exchange through the shell, and the embryo is protected by the shell. So this is the amniotic egg. Pretty much that fluid protects the embryo inside and keeps it from drying out. So that is your amniotic egg. Okay, here, right here, you might not have heard of some of these before. You might have. We have our placentals and our marsupials. So here's a good little chart here to show you the different. We have a marsupial species, mouse, Tasmanian devil, anteater, native cat versus our placentals. It's a different form of an anteater, mouse, a flying squirrel, and a wolf. So, what is the difference between them? Pretty much your placentals, which are right here, they allow exchange of nutrients, gas, and waste between mother and embryo, long 9 months. So, they're in there for 9 months, those embryos. Compared to marsupials, they're born tiny. Their young are born tiny and develop in a pouch. Oh, I know what's not on this picture here is a kangaroo, but a kangaroo is probably one of the most famous marsupials that you are familiar with. So again, your marsupials, the animals are born very tiny and they develop in a pouch, compared to the placentals, which are inside the mother's womb and they're in there for a 9 month period, allowing exchange of nutrients, gas, and waste between the mother and the embryo. And our last topic here for our reproduction system are our montriums. What we want you to know about these are your period of platypuses. We have some other your porcupines here. So we have a couple different things we want you to know that they lay soft-shelled eggs. So they lay soft-shelled eggs. And the mothers secrete milk through their abdominal pouches. So you kind of could see here, that's a platypus there with their offspring, and what they're doing there, they're getting milk through the mother's pouches there. I know you can't see that they're really small. So those are your montriums. Okay, so I think that pretty much covers everything we wanted you guys to know about the reproduction system. What you guys should do now is, again, work on your posters, explain what type of reproduction your animal does. Asexual, is it sexual? Are the hermaphrodites? You could also go into do they care for their young or not care for their young? All these different things you could add on. And tomorrow in class, we have one more thing to finish up on animal behavior. And you should have already been starting with your explain everything, which is how you're going to display your information from your poster to where we're going to post it out on YouTube. So again, make sure you answer all the questions along this in Zaption, and good luck.